Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Flying solo, you got the car man. So don't worry about me flying solo, because guess what? Voila, here I am, getting chased down by bugs and everything. See what I do for you guys? So this right here is going to be a video today, basically of in a flipping car series, and we're going to be talking about project versus profit. It's one of those subjects that it's hard to nail down because the lure of the fast money is always there. The lure of, okay, it's really easy to get cheap, and you can kind of see, okay, if this was running, it would be worth a lot. So a guy asked me about this, and he, of course, is also a dealer, and he's trying to find his little market. I guess, like I said the other day, he's just trying to win like the rest of us. We're all trying to win. But this can really, really work for you or against you. So let's talk about some of the pros and then some of the cons, so that way you can make a really good decision about the project you're taking on. So when you take on a project, you got to kind of know what's up. Like, there's different levels. Like, let's say car that doesn't run but you think needs a fuel pump. Or maybe it needs a timing chain, but you get into the timing chain and the valves are smacked and it's toast. Or you get into the fuel pump and you turn around and there's fuel injection problems, there's rusted lines, the brakes are bad, the shocks are bad, and the timing's bad, and it overheats. There's so many factors that you just don't know and or understand when a car doesn't run and drive. So I'm going to classify a vehicle that is not running as the highest risk possible in the project business. Now, if you are a guy that does all your own stuff, you really need to decide how much time you have to put into something. So me, for example, if I'm looking at something that doesn't run, maybe I'll buy it, but I have guys I can use to do stuff, or I can do it myself. But I also realize that if it's past 2 days, I'm not interested. Let me give you an example. So I'm looking at a 2002 Nissan Maxima. You'll see it in a second. Apparently I'm getting attacked by whatever this is. Maybe he'll leave us alone. Maybe he wants to be in the video. Alright, say hi to the peeps. Anyway, 02 Maxima. So I buy this car with the possibility of a bad engine, but it's for $150. Like I said, it's an 02 Maxima V6 3.5. I'm talking to the young lady. She's driving it, and the whole story doesn't seem to add up to a bad engine. I take a shot on it, get it started. I do hear noise, but it sounds like a tensioner noise. A little deeper into it, ends up needing a motor mount, and now it's got a hard shift. And so there's some things. Like even that car at $150, now this is 2.5 weeks later, fitting the project in. So even at $150, if it sells at $2,000, this car's already lost money. Even though it's a money maker. Any fool would say, hey, you can spend $150 on an 02 Maxima. But the truth is, time is money. So, first classification, the worst case scenario, car's not running. This is the highest risk ever. Only buy these cars if you can scrap them, because if the project's too big, you're better off to scrap them instead of fixing them based on how much time it takes. Now, what if a car, you can verify something like a fuel pump, you can spray some ether in, boom, she starts up, you know what you're dealing with. That's not as bad. That'd be like the next level up, or let's say clicking CV axles, or a noisy wheel bearing, or an AC that's not blowing cold. If you can isolate the project and that's all you're dealing with, that changes the game. So the way I would meter this is this. I would take, if I looked at a car, I would say, all right, this is my designated amount of time. If I cannot have this car done in my particular world, it's 2 days. If a car can't be in a shop, dressed, detailed, all the little stuff done to it, back on the market in 48 hours, I'm out. O-U-T, done. Out. Don't want nothing to do with it. But maybe maybe you've got some more time. Maybe this is just a 1 car a month thing for you. In that case, you can take on a huge project and, You'll be fine if you feel comfortable there. Will you make money? Absolutely, you're going to make money if that's all you're really interested in, is just that small amount of money on that one car. If you're doing this to make a living, projects can really cost you all your momentum. They can cost you all your profits because, like, let's pretend you take a car for $100. Let's just say they give you the car. So you start at zero. But it needs a timing chain, a wheel bearing, the horn's not working, isn't going to pass. All these things are crazy wrong with it. So week 1, you get the mechanical side of it kind of done. Then week 2, you're working on the interior and blah, blah, blah. So then you sell the car and you make $1,000. You're like, hey, somebody gave me a free car, I made $1,000. But you really didn't, because you could have took $500, bought a car, turned it in 48 hours, made $1,000 on it, did it again, did it again, did it again. So now this project that started for free isn't free anymore because it took your time, and now it cost you $4 grand. Anyway, it's just one of those traps that people get into that I'm kind of passionate about, because it's like one of my Achilles heels, if you will, because basically I look at stuff and I go, man, you know, yeah, I can do it. I mean, it's only going to take me an hour. It's only going to take me every time. Every time I get burned. Not sometimes. Every time I get burned. Because you're not going to sell a car out there to the public that needs this and that and the other. People don't want to deal with it. So it's got to be done right. And guys, I'm just, you know, if you're going to do a project, at least work. If it doesn't run, at least start with a nice car. You know, a later model. It looks nice inside and out. I mean, if it looks like crap outside, looks like crap inside, and it's not running, you know, that's what it is. It's just junk. So, but if you have a nice late model car that's pop timing and you might change a head or something, that's kind of manageable. Slipping transmission, that's manageable. Everything becomes manageable if you can isolate the amount of time that's going to take to get it going. But if you take a blank canvas, and like I said, we're dealing with ugly exterior, ugly interior, engine not running right, high miles, rust. You know, all these things, there's just too many of them. So, how do you pick a project? That's a pretty good question. So this is how I pick them. I look for 1, maybe 2 items that need to be done. If it's past the 2 items, maybe you got a bigger shop, maybe, you know, you got the people, the resources, whatever. Put your own number on it. But for me, I look at 2 things. So if I got a car and say the horn doesn't work in a CV axle, I'm in. If it has a horn that doesn't work, a CV axle, and it's got a miss, I'm out. You get the picture? 2, like, you have to cut yourself off. Now, how do you determine the value of a project car? Okay. So the best thing I train anyone on that's brand new in this game, first thing I tell you is go to a junkyard, a salvage yard, and take a walk. And every car you see in there is worth $100 to $200, whatever. That's all they're going to pay for them usually. Maybe in your town, you know, depending on the price of steel, it might go up to $300. Let's just say $300. So you can go to any junkyard in the U.S. and those cars are worth generally $300 and back. I mean, there's always some guy out there that argues with me about, yes, if it's an ambulance, yes, it would be worth more because of the metal. But you get the picture. So if we know that the scrapyard's only going to pay a couple $100, why in the world would you offer them any more money? Like, this is what you need to get in your head before you start playing with projects. It's like, hey, there is no value. I'm the one taking the risk, mister. You're the one getting the $200 and going on with your life, but I'm the one committed for the next month and a half. Anyway, you kind of filled me on that, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so before you get into the projects, just keep me in mind. I'm just throwing that out there because I know a lot of these guys are young and they're like, hey man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump on it. And you end up really hurting yourself. You can't meet payroll in your business because you took 3 projects and they're all tanking you. At the same time, like, there is some good with it and some bad. Just go in it with 2 eyes open and like get a real good understanding of what you're doing. Don't get in a rush. Just because someone tells you something's wrong with a project, you have to assume that everything is wrong with it, because you still need to look under the car. You still need to look for major oil leaks. You still need to try to get it started. If it's not running, no problem. See if you can do a compression test. Like, all these things can isolate your problems. But do be careful, guys. Do be careful out there. I like to see everybody make money. I like everybody happy. I like everybody on Friday going, yes, car business was good to me this week. That's awesome, and I'm all about that. I'm all about, you know, sharing the love forward. But sometimes you just have to walk away. And if you don't walk away, at least you need to stand your ground and say, hey, you know what? I got to call it what it is. If it's a piece of junk, you know it's a piece of junk, and just because you don't want to offend the guy that's selling it to you, there's ways that you can tell him it's a piece of junk. You can say, hey, listen, pretty sure this car's not running. I called the scrapyard on the way over here. They told me that they would give me $175, $200, and do call them. You call the scrapyard ahead of time. It'd be like, that's what they said they would give me, so how much do you want for it? Because remember, you're going to be hauling it, and you know you're going to be taking responsibility from here on out. And if they say, well, I want $700 or $800, you know, it's time to walk away, guys. Like, this is all about you and your time and making that money, right? Oh, and if it's a project that takes more time than normal, I expect a higher profit than normal. So let's say I went and bought a car tomorrow for $400. I'm just throwing numbers out. A riding and driving vehicle, let's make it $1,000 more believable. So I buy a $1,000 car. Riding and driving, car needs to be detailed, clean. I do it, but it's for sale the next afternoon. Do I need to make $2,000 on that? No. Why? Because I don't have any time in it. I could make $500 or $800 or even $1,000 on it, and I'm just as happy because I'm moving on. But when you get into the projects, you can't go put a week of time in something and turn around and sell it for a $500 profit. You're just being dumb. If you are not a mechanic and do not have the ability to do your own work, by all means, stay away from them. You're asking for trouble. The second you start relying on someone else to do your work for you, you're really running a risk of just going down the wrong road. Anyway, you heard it first from the car man. Peace and love, my brothers and sisters across the world. What was it? I was hearing something from a guy in Australia yesterday. It was hilarious. Nothing but love for you, brother. Anyway, we appreciate all the comments we get from all over the world. And anyway, I'm getting ready to do another video if y'all happen to be watching this one. But it's going to be dealing with, you see I've been losing weight, getting healthy and all that. I know. Anyway, we'll address that in a minute. But anyway, support your military, guys. We do. The red, white, and blue, baby. USA, love you, man. Love all of you guys. Meanwhile, I'm going to walk around the back of this camera and yell, cut again. And don't laugh at me because I'm doing this by myself. See? You're laughing. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, and subscribe. I'm trying to be like the man and stuff. That's what I need to be the man. Me and you, we're going to be the man together. All right, bye. So it's time to say cut, guys. Cut. Wait a minute, I can't remember which button cuts it. Oh, this one does.